Following on from my previous introduction, I thought I'd answer some of the questions about my lead character in Man in the Bath, Dr. David Dunn, and myself, as there is a slight overlap in terms of our approach to what we're delivering. David Dunn does his little rants and his monologues from the bath on video for broader people. I'm writing it down, which will be on my blog, possibly in a book eventually. There may be the odd one on here. But I'm very different from my main character. One of the drivers, I think, for Dr. David Dunn, if you've read the book or if you haven't, is that he's very, very arrogant. He thinks the world owes him a living, and he thinks he's better than other people and knows more than other people, and that people should bend their will or their opinions to reflect whatever he tells them. He's quite nasty in a way. He's not sociable. We do have a similar overlap there because I'm a grumpy old sod and many a time. But whereas he's presenting what he thinks is his rightful place as informing the world over what is right and what is wrong, what I tend to do very much is to question, not give the answers, but to say, what is your opinion on this? What are the different perspectives which you might take to approach a problem or to form an opinion about a particular subject? I think part of it comes from a curious nature. And one thing that I do in my day job as well is always ask, so what, at the end of everything. So if you have a proposed outcome or opinion, so what, who's it going to affect, who's it going to influence, and the knock-on effect downstream, if you like, of what is the eventual outcome of any opinion or change. One of the things I'm going to be sort of talking about in Insignificance is about societal change, behavioural change, attitudinal change, but also questioning perceived and received wisdom at the moment, and where there does tend to be a kind of mob view which has been propagated by social media. David Dunn, my character, is writing at a time before the world of influencers, before social media is a huge thing. So for him it comes as a surprise and a welcome one that he can influence other people. He starts out on bulletin boards, which were the old version of discussion points where people would rant on the internet. But by delivering a video himself, he has the added advantage that no one can directly challenge him. All of his opinions can be put out there without anyone arguing him down or proving where he's wrong. I'm actually quite happy to be proved wrong and to debate various points, and I probably will pick up on social media any responses I get to the blog posts or to the book when it comes out. Even if I don't, the point of what I'm doing, I think, is to raise that questioning of received wisdom rather than blind acceptance. And this is something that David Dunn doesn't do. He just expects the world to not bow down to him, but to appreciate him, to value him, and to honour him. And similarly with his workmates, he has the same sort of opinion that he is better. He guides them. He likes to think of himself as the puppet master on there. But even the personal relationships, none of them are successful for him because he has a very skewed view of his own intelligence, of his own attractiveness, of his own perception of how other people see him, which is why he's quite shocked when he hears the two students in the pub talking about how unattractive and unappealing the man in the bath actually is and how he's a figure of fun, rather than being a figure of veneration, which is what David Dunn hopes and expects to be. He's a flawed hero. He's not even really a hero. He may even be an anti-hero. But what he does do towards the end of the novel is he tries to put things right. He can at least recognise where others are misleading, deliberately misleading, and misrepresenting him, which I think is something that is very high profile and of great value to many people today is about representation and how people are perceived and how they are represented. And he tries to correct that, but he's too late, which is a warning for everyone, I think. Be careful what you say and what you do, particularly around social media, because you can kick up an entire firestorm, which you have no control over. Although hopefully for most of us, it doesn't end up in the same fatal ending as it does for Dr. David Dunn.